Well, folks, we have another weekend upon us, and it's the Friday fishing forecast. And I got to say thank you very much for all the kind words on the first part of the mini-series on the red tide / Piney Point. I really appreciate it. All these kind words are coming out. I'm doing the best I can with this thing. There's a lot of information. I'm finding even more information as I sit behind my desk and really work through this. So there's quite a bit that's going on. It's going to take me a while to get through this whole thing. So if you can bear with me, there's a ton of information that is out there. And currently what they're talking about is they want to dump more water because they said it's almost full. But if you watch the drone video from my first part, you'll see where the main gypsum stack is about half full. So I don't know where they're getting that they have to dump this thing. I don't know if they're talking about some of the surrounding ponds or whatever, but there's plenty of storage in this thing. And when I go and I start talking about how long they've been taking water out of this thing, it's really going to upset you. I was shocked. I could not believe how many millions of gallons they've been taking out of those gypsum stacks and those other ponds since 2003. It's almost mind-numbing. And to go through all of this information, and when I'm done with this whole thing, I will have links to everything. A lot of money. God, there's a lot of money involved. Holy moly. But anyway, on a brighter note, let's talk about this weekend. I'm pretty excited. Actually, we're actually going to do a little bit of night fishing. On Friday night, we're going to go out and we're actually going to go do some night fishing. On a full moon, we've got a full moon this weekend. So I'm going to give it a try. Typically, during this time of year, we have not done real well on the new moon at night inside the bay. For some reason, don't know why, but we just haven't done that well inside the bay at night in August, September, and July. For some reason, I think partly because of the crab flush. There's a ton of crabs that flush on these hard outgoing tides on the new and full moon. And I think with so much bait in the water that they're not going to really, even if you're catching crabs, which are easy to catch, they just don't seem to want to eat them or eat the ones that are on your hook because there's so many others to eat. So we're going to give it a try because it's hot. Man, it's been brutally hot this week. It's hot today, and this weekend's going to be hot. It's a very slight chance of rain, which is nice. That's good, but there is a sea breeze flowing in right now, so that makes it a little bit better on the water. But right here at the office, it's brutal. So, but anyway, I think we're going to have a good weekend. I know the snapper bite has been on fire. Snook and redfish are still going strong, so that's a positive thing. That's really good, but we need to stay on top of this Piney Point thing because if we just let it go, they're going to continue to do what they're doing, and we need to hold people accountable finally. And there's going to be some names that come out, and some of them won't make sense, and some of them will. And so we'll get into that, but let's go ahead and get into the Friday fishing forecast and see what we have in store for this weekend. All right, for tides on Saturday, we have a low tide at 4:42 a.m. at a 1.61 foot. Then we have a high tide at 11:50 a.m. at a 2.87 foot. Then we have a low tide at 7:38 p.m. at a 0.01 foot. On Sunday, we have a low tide at 5:54 a.m. at a 1.47 foot. Then we have a high tide at 12:44 p.m. at a 2.88 foot. And then we have another low tide at 8:17 p.m. at a 0.08 foot. Now as you see, there's a hard outgoing tide in the afternoon, which is really good for inshore fishing. I like those hard outgoing tides, especially if I'm flats fishing for reds and snook. I like to really, especially when they get really low, I like to look for those potholes on the flats where if you go out and look and you watch and look for mullet, you'll be able to find those fish. You find the mullet, you find the fish on the flats. That's a key for me. When I'm looking for fish on a flat that I haven't fished in a while, first thing I'm looking for is mullet. Second thing I'm looking for is birds. The mullet will be creating all kinds of ruckus down in the grass and bringing up shrimp and crabs. That's why those the snook and redfish and trout will follow them. and then the birds are feeding on bait fish. So another key thing is, you may not know this, but if you're looking at a mangrove line and you're going down a mangrove line and you see an area where there's been a lot of birds, or there's a lot of birds nested up into the mangroves and they're pooping a lot, which, one, you'll see it, two, you'll smell it, that is a key indication that there's going to be bait fish around there and there's going to be fish around there. I can't tell you how many times I've used that particular situation and found fish in the mangroves, because when those birds are pooping, it's bringing in those bait fish, and then the bait fish, of course, bring in the game fish. So something to look out for: mullet, birds, and birds in trees that are pooping a lot. So just a little hint on fishing inshore for snook, reds, and trout. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the Salunars. On Saturday, we have a major feeding time from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Then we have a minor feeding time from 5:27 a.m. to 6:27 a.m. And on Sunday, we have a major feeding time from 12:27 to 2:27 p.m. And we have a minor from 6:31 to 7:31 a.m. So those are the tides and Salunars for this weekend. If you're going to grouper and snapper fish, I highly recommend that you do it probably right as the tide's changing when it comes to that major feeding time, because that tide's going to slow down and it's going to get those fish off the bottom really going. But once that tide turns and starts to go out, you can either go and look for new spots, or you can go and fish for inshore fish like snook, redfish, and trout. I don't like fishing those hard outgoing tides or incoming tides for redfish or for grouper and snapper, simply because they're hugging the bottom and they're not keyed in on eating at all. So just take that into consideration for this weekend. I also want to talk about, we have a boat show coming up at the Tampa Convention Center, September 10th through 12th. I know it's a little bit off, but I just want to start promoting it out there. We will be with Sunray Marine as usual. They've been so good to us, and they let us come into our booth. And so if you get a chance that weekend, the 10th through the 12th of September at the Tampa Convention Center, this is the big boat show. This is the one that they skipped last year. So if you get some time, come on up and see us. Talk to us. We'll have all our jigs. We'll have all our gear. We'll finally have cast nets. Next week, I'll have cast nets in stock. So definitely look out for that. If you have subscribed to our website, you'll be getting an email from us when they are available. If you have not subscribed to the website, please do that if you're interested in finding out when we're releasing new product or getting new product in stock, like the cast nets and things like that. So anyway, thank you again for all of the support. We can't say thank you enough. By the way, Chad is doing much, much better. His hands are healing, so he's not as sore as he was. So hopefully we can get him out a little bit faster than what we were thinking before. And I want to say thank you to everybody that has given their thoughts and prayers to Chad. We really appreciate that. Thankfully, he's okay. And so anyway, thank you again. Fish more, catch more. I almost messed that up. And we'll see you on the flip side.